All right.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're watching us from. Welcome to the 6th episode of our Human Touch program. And as you already know, this is a program where we interview HR professionals to share insights on their journey. And we're privileged again today to have another amazing HR expert to share with us knowledge from this field. And I will hand over the program to our CEO, Peter, to take it from there.
All right. Thank you, Pauline. Thank you, Grace, for honoring our invitation to come very early. Actually, we've never had a guest who chose this early morning. I know most people fear early mornings, but I'm impressed that you chose this. Human Touch is a program that seeks to connect with experienced and well, those who are getting into the professional HR professional, so that we can get to know about their career journey, why they chose HR of all professionals, and also to know what it takes to interact with people, because leading people and managing people is not as easy as it seems. And from my perspective, at least for the little experience I have, I know it's so hard to manage people. And despite the fact that you have to be hard, at least you have to have the human and the heart aspect. With me today is none other than Grace Nzula, who is a certified HR professional with more than 12 years experience. She's also the founder of a company called Atala Solutions Limited, a human resource consulting and training firm, and also manager at Panessa Training Institute and major events coordinator at IHRM, which is a government body of human professionals in Kenya. And ladies and gentlemen, you can see she has a wealth of experience in the HR professional. And within these 40 minutes, we're going to interact with her. We expect nothing less than, a lot of experience, and maybe just to point out, there are some guests who give us very interesting reasons why they become HR. Some were imagining a situation whereby, like, a police officer harasses people on the road, the traffic police officer. So you have all that power to even fire, and it was very interesting. So I'll also be very keen to know why you joined the HR body in your journey. Welcome, Madam Grace.
Thank you so much for having me, Peter. So it's a pleasure being here.
So at this point, please introduce. I know I cannot do justice to your introduction. So let me give you this opportunity to go to any depth you wish. Please introduce.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. You've covered pretty much some basics on who I am. So obviously, I'm Grace Nzula. What you've missed out is I am the host of Get It Right with Atara Solutions, a webinar series that seeks to demystify issues in employment and entrepreneurship. This has been happening every Tuesday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. and we've done 58 episodes. We have taken a break of season 2. Season 2, we started in April. We just closed with a physical meetup on 30th of November. Season 1, we started in June and ended in December. We did 26 episodes. So it's been an interesting journey of learning. I have discovered that my purpose in the last 1 year has been to change the world through information. I have enjoyed it. I'm still enjoying it. And I hope to continue next year and the year after, until a time when God decides for another purpose or just another need, So other than that, I'm a mother of two boy and girl who are preteens. So again, an exciting journey. I also love carpentry. I love woodworking. So that's how I ended up managing a carpentry school. I love the fact that people get to create beautiful, beautiful pieces from nothing. Into what else am I? I love, okay, I should be doing it more, but I love physical health, or rather keeping fit. So I try to exercise at least 3 days a week. I read quite a lot and watch movies a lot. I binge watch, which is not a very healthy thing. But that's what I do for fun. I love traveling as well. I go to, my favorite spot is the national park because it's easy to reach here in Nairobi, and it has some awesome views. So every time I want to just declutter my mind, I normally go to the national park. But other than that, I love traveling everywhere. And yeah, that's pretty much about me.
That's a
The
very
human side of me.
it's a very interesting profile.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure the organization you've led our fun, because I know there's some organization you join and then there's nothing else other than working. Yeah. So please
Oh,
tell
yeah.
us,
Oh,
how did you get into the HR field?
wow. Mine is a very not straightforward thing.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, I wanted to become a journalist. So for me, after high school, it was not a question of what, it was of which school. So I went and did journalism. After journalism, I went for my internship and I started questioning whether this is really what I wanted to become. You know, the way they say, "Kwa ground is too different." That was real.
Yeah.
Yes. So I did not go for broadcast. Instead, I went for communication development. So this is where you use communication to develop people. So that is what I studied as my first degree. And then when I went to work, I got a job as an admin. And while there, I had a very good boss who allowed me to explore. So they allowed me to do PR, they allowed me to do sales, they allowed me to do HR, and they allowed me to be their assistant. So from there, it really shaped a bit of what I wanted to do. Then I moved to another organization, and there I went in as a personal assistant to the MD. I did that for 3 months. And because part of what they didn't have an HR in-house. So part of what I started to do as his assistant was payroll, and as well, just type out letters and all these things. So I started developing interest into how and what can I do to make this place better. So 3 months down the line, I was offered the HR job. They said, you know what? Before we get a HR manager, can you do HR, become an HR assistant? I was like, okay, no problem. So I even moved offices and went to the HR office, and I started now immersing myself into learning. I attended all the HR trainings that were offered by FKE and Kenya Association of Manufacturers in the year 2011. Come 2012, I did the same. So I started polishing my labor laws. I started polishing what exactly happens. And by 2013, I decided to go and do my master's. So I did a master's in HR. And after that, 2018, I also went in and did my CHRP. And yeah, here I am, became HR by fire, by force.
Yeah, great. And I think the journey has been interesting. So do you regret?
I love it. I love my journey. I love the things I've been able to achieve so far. I love the people I have met. I love that I have been panel beat, a good one. I also love, you know what, there's a time when I was very fresh in HR, guys went on strike. And this organization had a union. So I am coming from lunch, my friend and I are walking up, and we're like, wait, we can't hear because it's a manufacturing farm. We can't hear the machines running. We're like, hey, Kwani, there is no steamer. And they're like, okay, maybe. So we walk and we realize, wait, there's no one here. So first of all, we went to the ground floor where the machines were. It's quiet, and I'm like, machines are quiet, there are no people. What's going on? So then we went upstairs and we found these guys had changed into their overalls, clocked in, and went and sat outside MD's office and decided they are not working. So, and this is like 2 months into the HR job. And I was in shock, to say the least. My cheeks got hot. And I was like, okay, so what do you do when this happens? So my friend was like, all right, these guys are gonna go slow. We said, so by the time we were just talking there outside, my boss saw us and he said, please come. So we went and we were like, what's happening? He said, the guys are on strike. You need to go and find out what's going on. I haven't spoken to them. I said, all right. So I went to the team and I asked the union officials what's going on. So they said of course, they had some grievances. They gave them to me and they said they're not working until they're sorted out. It's like, what do you mean? You guys have not even told us that this was supposed to be done. Please note, this is 2 months into the job. So I'm really a bit green. So the good thing is when you have a PR background, it's easy to kind of get yourself around people. So I listened to them. I went to my boss and my boss was like, we are not doing anything. We are not negotiating. You know, like the way the president says we are not negotiating with terrorists.
Yeah.
So they said they're not negotiating.
Yeah.
So I said, okay. So I'm caught in between. So I went outside. I asked the guys, so this is all you want? And they said yes. So I went up to my office, which was upstairs. And I went upstairs and I had to try to get the union branch secretary to just understand what's happening. He won't answer my calls. So I said, you know what? Let me go try and negotiate. So I went down, I tried to talk to them. They won't budge. So I said, okay, fine. If you guys want to sit here, fine, no problem. So I went to my office. I started doing my own work. Of course, you're pretending to do your work because you really can't work.
You can't.
You really can't.
You're just testing who will break first.
You know. So, so at 4 o'clock, the guys clocked out and left. So they came back the next day. We used to report to work at 7 a.m. So they come in at 7 a.m. In fact, that day, I think only one person was late. So they came in by 7 o'clock, they clocked in, they changed into their overalls and went back and sat where they were sitting the previous afternoon. So I said, okay, what's going on? Again, I tried to reach out to the union because they needed to come, we agreed. Then the union guys were not responsive. So I called the union officials now from the organization, the shop steward and his office bearers. So they came, we had a conversation, we talked, and then they said they will be coming. So when they refused to completely accept our needs, I just went upstairs and I told my boss, look, these guys won't work. We all know that they won't work. So again, I went to him and we negotiated on that. And of course, he agreed to let them have whatever they wanted. And on conditions, we had to fire some people, which was really fine. So that is how I was baptized into HR. And that is how, my friend, I started knowing the Employment Act like the back of my hand. Because they were not going to corner me again.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my experience.
Interesting. So from that, I can see there are decisions that you made that, of course, helped these guys to move forward. And I can also see the other bad side of the HR, whereby some of them had to leave the organization. Do you have some of these experiences that probably you felt, am I being too hard on these people? Probably a disciplinary case. You're muted.
Yeah, of course. I normally say firing people doesn't get easier. Honestly, it just doesn't get easier, especially if you're an empath, because I have a lot of empathy. And I don't think it gets easier. I think you just become more tolerant. Yeah, your tolerance levels increase.
Yeah.
So it doesn't become easier. You just know it's the job. So yes, there are days that you felt, because sometimes, like for me, I had a serious good relationship with the people. So you even know who their wives are, you know where their children are. You literally, for their 150 employees, I knew their wives, their kids by names. they are probably some of the issues they're going through. And you realize that at some point, by the time you're getting rid of somebody, it was because of, sometimes you feel like, is there something else I could have done for this person? You know, could I change this person? Because sometimes you realize you have to get rid of them because of indiscipline, for example. People have been missing work, people have been coming to work late, and they have completely refused to change. And you have even tried to get into their business, you've tried to support them, you've even extended to pay for their kids' school fees, but still they're not changing. So sometimes the job requires you to, and yeah, of course, there are days that you wonder whether you have done enough before you actually sign off that letter.
All right, all right. So, I mean, every job have its own challenges. So, what are some of the notable challenges that you have experienced in your day-to-day activities as a HR? And even now, because I believe as a HR consultant, you are probably procured or consulted to solve some of the most challenging problems in organizations.
Absolutely. HR consultancy is a totally different ballgame, because you're the person who is called when they go on strike, and you're the one. Yeah, so some of the challenges that comes with the profession is the fact that you've got to get rid of people, and this is the job. And sometimes it's not a very good feeling, but it has to be done. It's got to be done. Also the fact that you have to have very high emotional intelligence. So before we had that as a number, we had to, like, you needed to breathe. You know, we didn't know that it was called emotional intelligence, where you really did not need to show up at every battle you're invited to. So dealing with people is difficult on its own, like you have said. It's challenging because sometimes you have to balance the H with the work, you know. That is normally such a big challenge. As well as sometimes you have ideas and you have points and you have a vision on how you can link with the organization and the HR people, but you're getting resistance from the management. Actually, the resistance to change, I would say, is the biggest challenge we are facing as consultants. But as well, even when during the active practice, it was also a big challenge, change management. Because sometimes you have to follow through, you're facing resistance. Sometimes, because I've had a case where we are putting contracts into place and people refuse, and you have to get rid of them because they've refused to sign contract. So, and sometimes you look at this person, you're like, how is it you're not seeing my side of the story? How is it that you cannot reason like this, you know? So, yeah, some of the challenges are, I think I've named a few here. Yeah.
All right.
So resistance to change,
yeah,
not being supported by management, very high leadership. You have to pack your feelings aside, and you have to demonstrate some very high quality leadership traits as an HR professional. And then the balance between the H and the job, the H and the business, is also a tricky kind of challenge. Yeah.
All right, and probably because we're also in the business of technology, I think I would also maybe relate with the resistance, because when you're introducing technology to maybe SMEs, you know, these guys, management people, sort of see that as something they don't need. And I don't know how probably you overcome that. Like, how do you overcome that resistance so that you can have the buy-in? You know, you have to buy all the stakeholders on board, even when you are probably proposing a new change of policies in the organization.
What I have discovered works is understanding the individuals who are supposed to buy in, and then you package the change in a language they understand. It works. It works. I tell you, if you know the way you categorize your audience. So if you're speaking to parents, there are examples you give because they will relate with it. If you're speaking to the youth, there's a way you package your message so that they relate with it. So even when it comes to change in organizations, we have, like, even now, I have a client who has about 800 employees, and he has completely refused to automate. He's always talking about budget. Now, for such people, now you have to just keep showing them the advantages of automation, even taking to them, and you're like, you know what, you see all these files, you just need a click of a button. We don't need to have somebody spending there. Imagine 800 people and you have to remove a file. You don't need to have somebody there for an hour. You just need to click and they can get that information. So we try to package the information in a way that it speaks to their needs, not necessarily to your own needs. You know, it's at the end of the day, you know that the policy has to be implemented. So you try as much as possible to minimize the resistance or minimize the people who are fighting out. And then obviously, because there are people who will completely refuse to buy in. At that point, you have to make the hard decisions. And it's not personal, it's just business.
I know Pauline right now is smiling when he hears of a potential client refusing to automate. But I guess that's a conversation for another day. Pauline, I hope
Yeah.
you're keeping note. All right.
I'm taking notes.
Yeah, I can see even when you don't have the camera on. All right, moving to the next question. Very interesting question that I think should always come first. What are the major trends that you foresee in the future in the human resources?
All right. We are not getting rid of technology anytime soon. It's not going to go anywhere. So the sooner we accept it, and the sooner we try to make sure that we automate our systems, it's going to be here with us, whether we accept it or not. So it's up to us to also try and have strategies that are tech awake, so to speak. You know, the tech, they have agility, so to speak, that they can change very quickly. Yeah. So that is one. The other thing I am seeing is the growth in the mental health space. In fact, I was just thinking to myself, how is it that I'm not a mental health, a psychiatrist or a psychologist? No, I can actually train on mental health. I think I've done enough classes on mental health, but I was just like, why am I not? Because with technology, the need for human touch increases. So that means that people are not able to deal with their emotions and psychosocial support. So that is going to be a very big thing coming. Actually, it has already started. If you look at the need that you've been experiencing in this year. So that is coming, as well as with technology, people are not cultivating meaningful relationships. And therefore, the need to be taught how to cultivate meaningful relationships is going to increase. So this mental health space is going to blow up in the near future. What are the other, whatever, the working with numbers, you know, like it's not about the hours you spend in the office, it's about the results that you produce while in the office. So that is also something else that's really going to, it has actually started. Obviously, we are talking about the gig economy. I'm a product of the gig economy. So that is unfolding, and especially in Kenya, it's unfolding slowly, but we're getting there. The hybrid system is obviously here with us. So it's really, I don't know that it's a trend for the future or it's a trend that's growing. Flexi hours is going to become a thing, like normal. It's not going to be, oh my God, you guys work from home. It's no longer going to be that. So yeah, some of the trends that I can see, obviously for HR professionals, analytics and metrics is going to be something huge, and we are going to be more specialized. So you'll find it's the HR, yes, but they are called transformational leaders, wellness coach, career, I don't know what, you know, there's this, we are evolving into very specialized space. Yeah.
Very insightful. And I think I can maybe point out, yesterday I was working from home and I felt, man, I need to see people. And
Yes.
I'm that kind of a person. I get somehow stressed if I'm working alone for quite some time. And I believe that's what will happen to most people, because you're working from home every day. You can imagine waking up to your desk every day. And probably you don't have a family. So you get lonely, and I agree with you that mental health will be a thing in particularly in Africa, because in Africa people don't believe people have mental health issues. But if you go to the US, it's a big business, and I know startups that are worth billions of dollars just by addressing the issue of mental health. Now,
Yeah.
what are your future goals? What can we expect from you, apart from Atala
Me as Grace?
solutions and the like?
Me as Grace?
Yeah, you as Grace. Yeah.
Wow. I'm a very I pivot a lot. I accept change quite fast. I am an evolving creature, I believe. So I keep evolving, I keep building on myself. So of course, expect to see more of Get It Right from me, obviously, and expect to see a lot more of trying to deal with ignorance. And I'm a believer that ignorance has no defense. I'm a believer that information is power. So I am going to fill that space with information for, especially for the HR professionals, but I also have a passion for entrepreneurs. So those are my two areas of focus: HR professionals and entrepreneurship. So expect to see that. We are launching a few programs next year. We are launching the mentorship program for budding entrepreneurs. We are also launching the training of trainers, where we train people how to deliver trainings virtually and physically. We are also launching a few master classes in 2022. So we are looking at going big, and yeah, expect to see more of me in the
Right.
in the profession. Yeah.
22.
Oh yeah, by the way, one of my achievements, I in the last HR conference in
Yeah.
Mombasa,
Yeah.
for the first time they actually had a judge.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I am here. Yes.
So 2022 looks to be a very promising year, right?
It has to be. It has to be. Elections aside, it has to be.
Yeah, and please
Yeah.
feel free to also invite us, and maybe we can just participate in whichever. Also, personally, I'm also an entrepreneur, so I believe I will anytime learn one or two things from other entrepreneurs. So finally, this is a question I always ask people, because I know as a HR consultant, probably you can agree with me that very many SMEs don't have HR professionals, and probably they have some of the worst relationship with employees. So what are some of the recommendations that you can give to these kind of organizations so that they can improve their human resources? Because whether you have a HR, or not, you are dealing with employees, and these employees are human. Yeah.
I look at HR as more of a preventive measure. So I normally tell SMEs, the leaders in SMEs, that it's like driving a car without insurance. You may think it's a cost right now, but something goes wrong, it can finish you completely to the ground. So SMEs need to understand that HR is not a cost center. Investing in HR processes, investing in a good HR professional, it is not a cost. It is more for their own benefit. It is something that you don't have a choice to do. You must do it, because the opposite of it is going to be dire. The risk is too high. And in the age of information, have you seen the people who just come to work and they quit? Like, you pay them and they quit, they resign. And they start, nowadays, the people we are getting into organizations, it's not about the job or security. It's more of the quality of the job. It's the quality of the employment. So if you have people who do not buy into that, and by the way, you as an entrepreneur, your work is to go bring business. What are you busy doing, kusumbuana na watu? Just go and look for business. Let professionals deal with your people, and you're going to see growth. Because as soon as people are not functioning, and you have seen, even the people in the tech space, they know, in as much as we have tech solutions, we still need people. We cannot just automate everything. We still need the human people. We all need the human touch. So for SMEs, please invest in HR. invest in making sure that you have processes that are supporting your business. And nowadays, by the way, because consultants are able to custom make packages that suit you. Even if you have a consultant coming once a month or twice a month, it's fine, because they can help you make sure that your people are well taken care of. And then you can be able to focus on business. Sometimes I don't know why we hoard. I don't know why entrepreneurs hoard. They want to do everything. You have hired 10 people and you still want to do what you hired them to do. Can we please just do our job? You are a CEO, give direction, yeah? Coordinate, allow people to do their jobs. And that means investing in good HR people, investing in capacity building, investing in people that will actually support your vision. So yes, HR is like insurance, car insurance. You may think you don't need it, but try work out without it. Yeah.
Wow. And also HR is not a cost center. I
No,
believe
it's
I got
not.
it right.
Yes, HR
Yeah.
is not a cost center.
So they should see it as an investment that has returns.
Exactly.
Well,
Exactly.
we've come to the end of the program. Thank you very much, Grace Nzula, for coming and sharing your experiences. I believe you have come across so many things that we probably cannot exhaust in this 40 minutes, but at least we are happy that you come and you've given what you are able to give within that short time. So I don't know
My
what
parting shot, Peter.
Yeah.
My parting shot would be,
Yeah.
I am because we are.
Yeah.
And every HR professional should remember that. I am because we are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank
Wow.
you.
Thank you very much. See you soon. And I believe we will talk later so that we see how we can also partner and build businesses together.
No problem. Like I said, I am because we are. Thank you very much for the honor of having me.
Yeah.
And yeah, let's keep growing.
All right. Cheers to Atala
Yeah.
Solutions.
Cheers, man.
All right. Bye.
Bye.